Good afternoon, children. We can continue our story, Mrs. Plug, the plumber. You all know that Mrs. Plug was a plumber. She was a very good plumber. So, if anyone need a plumber in the town, they all like to call only Mrs. Plug. Then one day, a trouble happened in a lady's bathroom. Children, can you say what was that trouble? Yes, her big toe stuck in the water tap. Then she called Mrs. Plug. Mrs. Plug went with her useful bag. She solved the lady's problem, and Mrs. Plug was coming back to her house. On the way, one terrible thing happened. All of you know that. What was that terrible thing? What was that? Yes, she saw a robber. In the street, she saw a robber. Do you know what is a street? Yes, a street is a road in the public road in the city, town or village. When she reached in the street, she saw a robber. That robber was trying to rob a rich man. Then this robber tried to rob Mrs. Plug also. Then what did she do? What did Mrs. Plug do? She took her blow lamp from her useful bag and burned the bottom of the robber. He got pain. He ran away with pain. So our rich man became so happy and he gave a reward to Mrs. Plug. Children, do you remember what was that reward? Yes, that was 4 tickets for a voyage. Then our Mrs. Plug came back to home. She told everything to her husband. She showed the reward to her husband and they decided to go for journey, go for voyage. Voyage means travel or journey in a ship or plane. Then they started their journey. Before that, they packed their cases and they had a cat. They told their neighbors to take care of this cat until they come back. Then they wrote a note for the milkman. Who is a milkman? Yes, milkman is a person who bring milk. Then they don't want milk until they come back. So they wrote a note saying we are going for a journey or a trip. So we don't want milk until we come back. Then they kept that outside the house, that note. After that, they started the journey. Then teacher will read the rest part of the story. You listen carefully.
The voyage began. The Plug family had a happy time. They saw icebergs in the northern seas. They saw flying fish in the southern seas. They had dinner at the captain's table. They danced on deck under the stars. Children, the voyage began. Voyage means journey or travel in a ship. The journey started. Journey began. The Plug family had a happy time. Plug family were very happy. Mr. Plug, Mrs. Plug and children, they were very happy. They saw icebergs in the northern seas. Now they are in their journey. They saw, what did they see, children? They saw icebergs. Do you know what is an iceberg? Iceberg is a large piece of ice floating in the sea, or ocean. Because of high cold, seawater will become big piece of ice and that float in water. That is icebergs. Then they saw icebergs in the northern seas, and they saw flying fish also, fish which can fly, that they saw in the southern seas. Children, have you heard about the ship Titanic? That was a very big ship. Do you know where is it now? Oh, that is in the deep ocean. That one day, that means many years before, more than 100 years before, actually that happened in 1912. Our Titanic, this big ship Titanic, was in a journey with 2,200 people. While the journey, this ship hit on a very big iceberg and ship sank in water. That time nearly 1,500 people died. I think you all have heard about this Titanic shipwreck. Then they had dinner at the captain's table. Children, what is dinner? Dinner is the main meal of the day. Main meal of the day. We have breakfast in the morning. We have lunch at noon. We have supper in the afternoon. Dinner means main meal of a day. That is dinner. They had their dinner with the captain at the captain's table. Then they danced. Plug family danced on deck under the stars. Children, what is the meaning of deck? Deck means floor of a ship. Floor of a ship. Then you have a closer look at this picture, children. You can see Plug family dancing on deck of the ship. You can see stars in the sky, moon in the sky. Children, see who is carrying Miss Plug. Yes, Mr. Plug is carrying Miss Plug and Mrs. Plug is carrying Master Plug. They are very happy. They are dancing.